See. Okay, I'll talk. Who's there? I'm sorry. That sucks. That is so bad. I'm so sorry. Actually, I kind of know where you're coming from. I just recently needed a wheelchair. I still need one for about 2 more weeks after the surgery, and but I didn't have to move, so I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I feel bad for you. I'm sorry. 35 years is a very long time. You're gonna have tons of good memories in the new house. I can feel it in my bones. Do you have children? I have two. I have two children and three grandchildren. Ah, you're a neighborhood mom. Why do people come on here and the first thing they say is God loves you? It's like they just bounce around from channel to channel saying God loves you to everybody they think's different. It's kind of crazy. 13 and 26. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I've been blessed. I haven't lost anybody that close to me. Knock on wood. Although Wednesday I did get a gift from God. I had my SRS surgery on Wednesday, and it was so profound. Yeah, you're right. Exactly. It's so annoying. I mean, to me, I always give them shit. I don't mind answering anybody's question. Anybody has a question, I will answer it for sure, for sure. You know, but the whole thing is God loves you. God. I know God loves me. You don't have to tell me, and they don't mean it anyway. Can I tell you something that is completely ironic that is going to make you laugh, since you have such a heavy heart right now? I'm pretty sure to make you laugh. Okay, good. Thank you. I wanted your permission. So, I had. Do you know what SRS surgery is? Kind of know. You know if you know what if that is, because if you don't, I'll explain it to you. If you do, then I don't have to. And it kind of it's only one. But I'm almost positive that you're gonna laugh. Okay, so I had SRS surgery on Wednesday, right? I woke up Wednesday evening, and it was very emotional and everything. And there was the surgeon that performed the surgery was not there, but there was two other doctors, and they introduced themselves, and their name were Dick and Ball. Dick and Ball. Dr. Dick and Dr. Ball. Go figure. Just my luck. Hopefully it made you laugh. There's a little bit of a time delay here, so it was so funny. And the way Dr. Dick came in, it was like, you got to be kidding me, right? Because we're sitting there, and I'm in a lot of pain over everything, and the door kind of flies open, and this doctor kind of comes almost sliding in. He says, "Hello there, Brooke. I'm Dr. Dick, and I ran up 16 flights of stairs to get my exercise today." And he had these hazel eyes and this little duff of hair. He's about 35, just gorgeous. I'm like, really? Come on. And I'm not into guys, but it was just so funny. And then the other one goes, "And I'm Dr. Ball." Dr. Richards. Yeah, it was. And there was a Dr. Butt too, but that came later on. I just couldn't help myself. I just lost it. I was cracking up. I said, if that ain't a message from God, I don't know what is. I mean, the lady who did my surgery, his name was Dr. Butler. Great people, but the names just, oh, come on. You can't make this shit up. Your friends in Tampa, Florida? So do you think that, oh, okay. These are my doctors are in UCSF of San Francisco, and just I don't know, it's great. The staff was awesome, but I just had to tell somebody that, like Dr. Dick and Dr. Ball. I mean, they knew the irony and what they were, their names or whatever. So it wasn't like it was funny anyway. That's cool. So can I ask you a question? Just there's nobody else here. It's just me and you. I didn't expect to be a lot here. I've been off for the whole week. Obviously, it's a week. What's today? Wednesday now. So it's been 1 week, and I'm just going stir crazy. So couldn't sleep. Came here. um, do you? I've been here. I mean, I watched the whole Trump thing, and I have my own political opinions about everything. Do you think it was set up? Do you think it was staged, or do you think it was real? I just want to know. I think personally, I think it was a real attempt, and how they dropped the ball so badly. I don't know. Seems kind of suspicious. We don't have to talk about politics. I like politics. I like talking about them. And what do you think about Kamala? Just I'm whole thing kind of makes me feel like doomsday. You think stage? My best friend thinks stage two. I don't think so. But hey, we're all. I mean, that's. Don't you think that's kind of like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna stage this, and I want you to shoot me in the ear, or do you think it was just like didn't even come close? They just pretended. A lot of people seem to think that. I think it was real, but I mean, I'm not gonna say it was. I don't know. I wasn't there. It's just. It's crazy that we even have to have this discussion. I mean, what is going on in our world today? I'm 60. I turned 60 July 2nd. What was that? 2 weeks before my surgery. I turned 60. Are you supporting Kamala? Kamala, whatever. Yeah, that's what I've been saying all along. It's like we're telling the whole world these are the best two people in our whole country. Are those two? And even out of the three that are running, I would kind of rather vote for Robert Kennedy. But then again, maybe I had brain damage in my surgery. That surgery was scary. I'll give you that. It was freaking scary. I was right on the fence. I mean, right up to the last second. Not on the fence, but I was scared enough to run away right up until. I mean, just it was so frightening. Yeah, I mean Trump. I kind of I don't know. I'm leaning the other way. I just think that Biden and them. I don't like the way that they lied to everybody, and if they lied about what they lied about, then what else did they lie about? I just think that's rotten. And the border. I mean, I live in California. We feel in the border. It's a crunch and it hurts and it hits hard. The friend you took care of was 70. How old did they start to transition? I started 4 years ago when I was 56. And there's a lot of hate. I mean, if I were to turn my camera on and sit here with my tits poking out and not say a word, there'd be 150 people in here. But as soon as I start talking, they go away because they think I'm crazy. And like I have different opinions about things. I'm not a typical tranny person. I don't think transgender women belong in transgender or women's sports or locker rooms or bathrooms. I don't think kids should transition early, but these are only my opinions. I'm not speaking for the community. I don't even know anybody else who's trans. I'm the only one I know. 60-ish. It's I see what I want to do is I'd like to talk to a bunch of people that are 60 because when I was talking to my mom about this and she didn't take it well, none of my family has. Um, she told me that she took birth controls throughout her pregnancy with me, and I'm like, why would you do that? You know, and stuff. And I'm wondering how many other kids' parents did it because I guess they didn't know it was bad for them. I guess apparently, and I wonder how many other people like your friend whose parents took. I didn't even know they had birth control back there in the '60s, but mom took it. Throughout her whole pregnancy, so it had to affect my brain somehow. I'm sure that's why I think I turned out this way because of that. I'm not mad at her. I mean, it's kind of a hard life, and you lose a lot of respect when you tell people. Because I was kind of a cowboy, I guess. I'm kind of I still work on the ranch and everything, but I don't get a lot of respect anymore. It's kind of sad, but it's okay. I'm good. And the economy's so hard. I mean, I'm pretty low income on the ranch. It's the rent. The lady from the grocery store is also trans. Has stopped by a couple more. Oh, so yeah. Well, you're her. You're the lady. Yeah. Okay. I knew it, Sandra. I thought you had been here before. How is she doing? I mean, is she like so cool about? I mean, the fact that you gave her like this new lease on friendship and life. I've been wondering about how that ever came up. I wonder if that lady would be willing to come on and share her story with me online. Give her a let her go on with her phone or camera or whatever, and then talk about it. I would love to, get to run it by her, and if she'd like to, I'd be more than I'd love to have her on. I knew that. See, I talk about you a lot and what you did. How does your husband? Or she just stops by, just like, yay, I'm here. That would drive me crazy. I don't know any other trans people. I know none. Zero. So they kind of make me uncomfortable. Isn't that kind of weird? Yeah, I tell the thing that you when you shared your story with me with her. I tell that to people. It's very very inspirational. You're one of those people. Then you're one of those families that people just stop by. They don't have to call or anything. You guys are just like, come on in. The more the merrier. I've known families like that. Unfortunately, my personality never let me do that, but I always loved the families like that, especially when I was a kid. You just go over there, hey, where's Johnny? Head on upstairs or whatever, It's something that we are sorely missing in this country. I'll tell you that. It's good old fashioned, don't need to lock your front door kind of folk. Nightmare on Elm Street. Oh, because of all the red? Sorry. I look better in red. Sandra, I'm a lesbian mom and my life partner for 30. Oh, yeah. Oh, so you really welcomed the love from everybody. That's great. I mean, it's horrible what you went through, but it's great that you had that support team. And I was so kind of with. It's weird because before my surgery last week, I didn't care if. I mean, I cared, but because I'm having such a pushback from everybody that I knew and know, I didn't care if I woke up. To be honest with you, but when I did, and I got to see, it was so profound. I mean, it was so just emotional that I'm glad I woke up. But there was just a time that, so 37 years. So you went through the hard times of being a lesbian. I mean, literally way back in the 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s, where you guys were just trying to get your foot, in the door of society and people to respect you and accept you for who you are. It's kind of what I want to do, but we are a long way away, and we have too many people that are screaming the wrong messages. It's going to be a tough battle. Oh, where do you live? Homemade bakery stuff and tea and come on, I'm coming over. I don't drink coffee though, but I sure do like the pastries. That's why I got myself one of these. Mhm. I'm not a sicko freak, Jeff. Ask a question. The sicko freak is somebody who just comes in and goes, "You're a sicko freak. What are you, 12? If you have a question for me, ask it. I don't care what it is. I'm not afraid to answer any questions." Yeah, it was terrible. My brother was doing that. He was bashing gay people. I mean, so it was really close to home. My family was very prejudiced and very racist. Probably why I couldn't come out because I would have got beat up. Look at these people. They can't have a conversation with somebody like me. It just blows my mind. I mean, they come in, they see or hear my voice, and they just leave because they can't have a conversation. If they were to stay around long enough, they might realize that, hey, I'm just a normal person. I think pretty much the same way as mainstream in a lot of things. But they just cannot see it past themselves. Just crazy. I mean, but it is what it is. Yeah, I'm kind of having to do that myself. If I don't, I'll go insane because my mom and dad just kind of said, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to know about it. Blah blah blah. My youngest daughter is just completely full on blocked me on her phone and everything. And my oldest daughter, she's like, I'm happy to see that you're happy. It's a little tough on her, but she's willing. But all the people I work and live where I don't know if I told you before, I work and live on a dairy ranch, and everybody here that works is guys. They're all guys, so I lost all the respect and everything. It's been tough. You already are insane. I'm already insane. I'm not insane. I am sane. Believe me. Insanity is coming on and insulting somebody before you get to know them. Ask a question. something, whatever you is that you hate the most, Jeff, about trans people, ask me the question. See what my opinion is before you hate me. I love farming. Well, it's cows. We have cows. I work with the bulls and everything too. So, love the cows. They can be trying though, because they're kind of dumb at times. I gotta turn this thing off here.
Power off.
Let's see if Jeff had the courage to ask a question, or if he just wants to be a 12-year-old shadows kind of person insulting everybody. I don't mind people that disagree with my lifestyle. But I don't like somebody that instantly hates me, labels me. They don't even know who I am. Apple orchard, peach orchards. What do you grow? What kind of orchards? We have about a total, if you count the calves and the milk cows and the dry cows, we probably have 1,500 cows, maybe 1,000. Look at Jeff just prove my case. What a coward, huh? What a coward. You can't even tell me, what it is that he hates about me. He just wants to come in here and do that. I mean, it's 3 o'clock. What is it? 4 o'clock in the morning. He comes in, spews some hate, and then leaves. Oh, that's so great. See, are you a homesteader? Are you a homesteader? Do you survive off of everything, whatever that you make and eat and drink, your own stuff? If you are, you're in a good position because, man, I'm afraid something's going to happen to this world and we're all going to perish. My good friend thinks that this layer of algae that covers the ocean surface is going to die, and then and we're all going to basically be suffocating. He's a smart person in most things. I don't agree with his politics though. That's so cool. So is the cost of food not affecting you as much as the average person? Because me, like my grocery bill has tripled. Just it's killing me. I don't make any money. I'm poor, and just the fact that to feed me and Christine, if I could, I mean, excuse my language, you're talking like $600 a month to feed two old people. Oh, you trade with other locals too. This is why you have open door policy too, huh? Oh God, I envy you so much. I mean, I live this far from like San Francisco in the big city. Even though we're in the country, it's still, you know, where the fog meets the smog. California, California living ain't all it's cracked up to be. That's so great. Trade with others. So how old do you think that Jeffrey guy was? You think these are children that are just coming along and spewing hate and running away like little kids? I don't think so. My friend kind of Pennsylvania is more friendly. Never had a problem with people being prejudiced. Only my bio family. Probably a younger guy with nothing. Yeah, I guess so. I think I guess it's disturbing to me because these are our future. These people will determine what kind of a country that my grandkids are left. And I don't want my grandkids to be prejudiced. But then again, my own daughter won't let me see them. So I guess I'm kind of screwed there. Whatever. But my surgery went good. Whoop. I'm done. But it was truly, I mean, people don't, they think that you can't be close to God if you're transgender, but I swear it was like God personally gave me a gift when they took the bandages off for the first time, and I looked, and it was like, it's not really all that pretty, but it was so freaking like, okay, I get it now. I get why I tried and waited and fought so hard. And thank you, because your battles opened the doors for this to happen for me. And I want to thank you personally. Pennsylvania. Yeah, born into what though? And if a born again Christian means that you go around and you hate people that you don't even understand, and you don't even have the courage to ask or to confront them with something that you disagree with, you just want to go, God hates you, you're a freak, blah, you know, that just doesn't give me a lot of hope for the youth. But then again, there's people like some with this one kid that's regular on my show. I thought it was an older man, actually. This African American kid. He's only 15, and he can be in here because it's 13 guideline for YouTube. But stuff, I thought it was an older man, very mature young man. His little call sign is trains and trucks, and he gives me hope. No, they are not really Christians. They're not. They're struggling with their own demons that are causing them, that where they feel that it makes them feel better to take it out on somebody else, and if they can do that, then they'll be okay. And it's just, it's sad. It's kind of breaks my heart because I mean, I went to church. It was just different. But then again, I was also dating the minister's daughter when we were like 10 years old. Dating. I mean, we went up the tree fort and kissed the minister's daughter, and I still know her to this day. And I'm 60, so that, what is that? 10, 50 years. 50 years in her. I only kissed her back then. I don't kiss her. Actually, I should be honest about that because I haven't told her yet about this. I'm afraid to. 50-year friendship, and I'm afraid to lose it over this. What a coward, huh? I guess I'm a coward. I'm trying to think. I don't know. Camel is something about Camel. I just. It's not so much her as a candidate, Kamala, that bothers me. It's how the media just flips on you on a dime like that. It just drives me crazy. You're still friends, you people you went to preschool with? She's the only friend I have from preschool, but my best friend, I've known him since I was 15. So that's quite a long time too. Really, well, back in the day, I mean, when we drank out of the garden hose and come in before the street lights come on and stuff, everybody seemed to know everybody. You know, it was just a different, better time. I asked my mom. My mom's 81, and I said to her, I go, Mom, are you sad that you're gonna miss like the new technologies and all the new inventions and stuff that are coming up? And she says, you know what? Nah, I've lived through the best this country has to offer. It can only go downhill from here. And I was kind of like, yeah, I see where you're coming from, you know, which is sad. I mean, because I love technology. I mean, I love the whole AI thing. I just love that freaking chat GPT. That's like a friend to me. See, and when my daughter grew up, I couldn't even let her go outside alone. I was afraid that somebody was going to kidnap her and rape her. Oops, I can't say that word on here. Kidnap her or, take her away from me or do bad things. I mean, I was so afraid that my youngest daughter was going to get hurt if I let her play outside. Can you believe that? And then one time I drove and left her at a parking lot, a grocery store by accident. Oops. Yeah, we did. VCRs, microwave, color television, remote controls. There was no remote controls when I was young. None. I remember we got the first one. My friend thought I was magic because I had it. I would hide it and I'd push a little button and the whole knob would go. And the rotary phones where if your last number was like 9 or 0 and you mess up, you'd have to start all over. Great. My grandma actually had a party line when I was a kid. I remember when I got my first personal computer. It was crazy. Yeah, you were. Do you remember Creature Features? The show Creature Features on Friday night? You know what the sad part about it was though? It's like we had this golden childhood, but somewhere along the line our parents kind of went to turning us into latchkey kids. At least mine did. And it's like, what happened? Creature Feature, yeah. I can't remember the host name, but like Night of the Living Dead was that one really scary one. And oh, just it's back when kids were scared to see scary movies because they didn't kill everything inside on video games. Just, uh, I miss those times. I really do. Double, yeah, creature double feature. Yeah, exactly. The Alfred Hitchcock, The Birds. That movie was filmed right down the street from where I live right now. The Birds, Alfred Hitchcock's movie, The Birds. I remember my brother and I. We went to. Remember when you had to go, you get your parents' signature, and you could go to see the rated R movies as like a 12-year-old or 13-year-old. My brother scared the shit out of me. Wouldn't reach under my chair and grab my feet. I was like, oh, you. And then they ditched me on the way home. I don't even think kids know what ditching means anymore. I don't watch TV no more. I watch the news every great once in a while, but I get all my news basically from YouTube, and I just don't watch TV anymore. I was telling my girlfriend, I was asking her, quizzing her. I said, "Have you seen the movie A River Runs Through It?" No, you haven't. Okay. Have you seen the movie The Amazing Life of Benjamin Button? No. I'm like, really? I'm like, have you seen the movie The Stand by Stephen King? No. Have you seen the movie The Notebook? No. I, I bet you've seen every one of these, haven't you? Trains and trucks? Hi. Hi, trains and trucks. It's so nice. What are you doing up so late or early? Me, I couldn't sleep. We got home, Christine and I got home around probably 1 o'clock in the morning, and I've been off work for the last week because of my surgery, and I just could not sleep. So I said, I'm just going to come on here and say hi to some people. Trains and Trucks. That's the young man I was telling you about, Sandra, is Trains and Trucks production. He is a super nice young man, and I am very honored to say he's my friend. So tell me something new, Trains and Trucks. Tell me something I didn't already know. Oh, there you go. Sandra says hi, Trains and Trucks. I think Trains and Trucks said he's from like, I want to see Pennsylvania or something, or no, not Minnesota. I can't remember. Nice to meet you, Sandra. Hi. Hi, Miriam. Everything's pretty good. I'm healing up from the surgery. Today was the first day that I actually wasn't super like crazy, can't sit down sore. So I think it's healing up pretty good. It's kind of a different. It's weird. It's really weird that it actually. I mean, I waited so long, and now this. Look at Trains and Trucks. Just knows everybody. I'm glad to see some nice people in here because other people are just so they don't know me, they don't know my what I stand for, so they just instantly call me a name and run away. And I've been talking, for the past I don't know half hour, 45 minutes to Sandra, and this is the lady with that had the trans friend that was in the store that she invited to the house, and She has changed that woman's life, and you, Sandra, have changed many other people's lives that you don't even know just from the stories that I've told about what the openness in your heart did for this lady who hadn't, if I remember correctly, hadn't been invited to a family function in 30 years. Come on, man. Pat yourself on the back. You are changing lives, and you don't even know it. Hmm? Yeah, the algorithm has, because I haven't been coming on consistently. It's kind of slowing down um, where it spreads my show. I'll build it back up. It's just I had to take a little bit of time off. I tried to come on too soon. I don't know. You seen Trains of Trucks when I was in the hospital? I did a couple of broadcasts, but I've been kind of really beat down. It's crazy how much those surgeries take out of you. They just really, really, really take out emotionally and physically. Just have to show her new driver's license picture. No kidding. That's cool. That's cool. She just now get a name change, or did she just now get the picture updated? Because I'm going to do that. Well, I was going to do that today, but now it's so late, early. I don't know. I might still do it to go down to the courthouse and have them do it all because I really want to do it. I really do. And it's funny in the hospital too because I was being misgendered because I didn't have any makeup on or anything. I didn't care. I was over at my friend's house tonight. We were having such a good time and just cracking up. She's a magician, and she came up with this new act that I just absolutely love. Christine hated it, but I loved it, and we were over there shit till after 12 o'clock at night. So I was kind of hyped up already anyway. And then I came home and Christine went to bed, and I was just kind of farting around. I said, you know what? Let's go live. Picture updated. Yeah, that's cool. I I just want to. That's one thing I'll give my daughters credit for though, because my name is Christine gave me my first name as a girl, and my daughters, I asked them if I could use their middle names, and they gave me permission. So, that's why I'm going with my name will be Brooke Rose or Brooke Lee Rose. I'm not afraid to say it on here. It is what it is. Yeah, you need to get that rest. I know I do. Christine's been on my butt. Believe me about it. It's like you're supposed to be doing this and this and this. I'm like, yeah, but I'm going. I mean, I wanted to take the boat out today, but she wouldn't let me. I got this little boat, little fishing boat. If you want to learn some makeup stuff, I'm telling you, because turning to make this face even look like this is magic. Absolute magic. Absolute magic. Like I said, in the hospital, people were coming in, sir. My surgeon was getting so pissed off. She's like, everybody's misgendering you. I'm going, look at me. I look like a dude. So I'm like, I don't care. I said, I have a podcast where I preach that it doesn't really bother me that much. I said, just put my name on the door. That's all I want. To put my name. Just call this person Brooke. That's all I cared about. You don't have to call me anything you don't want. I don't give a shit. I got my time is too valuable than to yell at somebody for calling me sir. You said that that lady really dresses very nice and modern and stuff. I wonder if she's a well-to-do or like a super smart person. Smarter than me probably. But my friend did something kind of profound to me. I know nothing about makeup except for on makeup. NFL preseason starts tomorrow. Does it really? I'm a Raider fan. What do I got to look forward to? We're not going to be any good. We didn't make any moves or anything. You're Kansas City, right? Dreams and Trucks, Kansas City Chiefs. Because you guys are going to go to the Super Bowl again, probably. Oh yeah, that what a great job that is. At a country courthouse. That's like my. I used to go to my grandparents' house in Northern California every summer, and the population of the town. It was a town called Blue Lake, California, and the population of the town was literally like 150 people, and I think 20 of them were my family. And yeah, they had a little schoolyard and a little courthouse and a little jail. What a great existence that is. These people, they just don't know what it's like to live like that. And like here's an example. My friend, she hasn't given me permission to use her name, so I'm going to use her stage name. Is Vixen. Matt Millen from the Raiders was. You're kidding me. No, he wasn't. You're just pulling my leg. Did you read that? Trains and Trucks? Read what she said. Yes, yeah, I remembered you were a Chiefs fan. I thought so. I think there's going to be some teams that are going to be better this season. You think anybody's going to be better in the AFC West? I don't know. I hope the Raiders are. The Raiders could surprise people, and probably not, but they could. Matt Millen. I loved that guy. He was your babysitter? How do you get a football star to be your babysitter? Oh, you were his human football. What? Wow, there's some kind of animal out there tearing down the walls. What a great story. What a great story. You want to hear something really funny? I actually dated a lady because she dated Kenny Stabler. That was the only reason I dated her, because she had dated Kenny Stabler. I'm like, you dated Kenny Stabler? Oh, we got to go out. I mean, that's kind of shallow, but yeah, that's how much I love the Raiders. I mean, I went with them. They moved from Oakland to LA. I followed them there and then back to Oakland. And me and my daughter, we used to run around. She's on my shoulders, and we're like, back in black, head to sack. Been so long, I'm glad to be back. I just love the Raiders. He had a heart transplant. Is he okay? I mean, he shouldn't be too old, right? Maybe 70? Pittsburgh's. Is Rosenberger still quarterback for them? I mean, if he is, I would be just shocked. Is Rosenberger still quarterback? He had a heart transplant. I mean, back in the day, though, them guys, them boys, they played as hard as they played. They played as hard as they played football. You're 54. Yeah, I'm 60. So, I mean, I remember Matt Mellon for sure. You're 54. You're the same age as Christine. You're 54. You're the age I did when I came out. It's like, God, that's so late in life. So late. Not, I'm not saying you're old. I'm saying it's really late for me to decide, hey, guess what I'm going to do, Mom? I'm going to blow your mind. Okay, trains and trucks. Who's your prediction? Who's going to the Super Bowl this year? I think it'll be the 49ers in the NFC and the Raiders in the AFC. I got to pick the Raiders. Russell. Oh, you had to bring them names up, didn't you? Russell Wilson. Um, Todd Marinovich. Uh, Justin Fields is the new quarterback. Yeah, but unproven. I mean, if he was so great, nobody would have gave him up. Or is that rookie? Who was the rookie last year for the Raiders? I thought he did okay, but he's not a franchise quarterback. Yeah, he retired a few years ago. Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Okay. I'm sorry. I was confused there. I was confused. I don't know, Sandra. What's your pick? Who's gonna win the Super? Who's gonna play in the Super Bowl? The Niners. It's like if they don't do it this year, they're not gonna do it. They've had the golden opportunity, and who gets the last player in the draft, and they turn out like Brock Purdy? That just pisses me off. We spend the number one draft pick on quarterbacks, duds. They go to the last player in the draft, some little squirt, and he takes the freaking Super Bowl 3 times. Ugh. Justin Fields was the rookie for the Bears. How did he play? Yeah, it's a long shot. If you were to put $1,000 in Vegas on the Raiders to win the Super Bowl, and they actually did, could buy a house. You could buy back that house you had to move from. You could be Ramsey were because they are not favored. Yeah, the Chiefs got the Niners number. I loved it. I absolutely freaking loved it because remember I'm from the Bay Area, so the Niners and the Raiders fans have been clashing for my whole life. So the only time I ever felt okay about a Raiders loss is when the Niners lost too. But if the Raiders lost and the Niners won in the same week, I had a miserable week. The 49ers, I don't know. The Chiefs they're gonna get old too though. Trains and trucks, watch out, they're gonna get old. You got a great quarterback though. I mean, I don't know how you ended up with that kid. That freaking Mahomes guy drives me crazy. Yeah, but doing all right and getting better is not Mahomes caliber. The Raiders are just, I don't know if it's karma or they're just not good at picking. I kind of believed in the direction that Gruden was going to take the team again before his mouth got him in trouble. But you lived in San Diego for a couple of years, for 6 months. Oh, so yeah, I mean San Diego, they kind of had a whole bunch of different teams they could root for: the Rams, the Chargers, the Raiders. I mean, you could even root for the Niners. I mean, California had a lot of football teams. We were spoiled for a while. Not good ones, but a lot of them. My ex father in law was a Rams fan, so I hated the Rams. I don't know. I just don't. Usually, I used to, the beginning of the football season was always, oh, you're going to go to the Super Bowl. But lately, the Raiders just aren't making the right moves. And the wide receiver wants to leave. The number one running back quit. I mean, demanded a transfer basically. How do you can't win like that. I did like the coach last year. I thought he was pretty fiery. Andy Reid, a coach. Yeah. But you know what? Tom Brady and Belichick. Everybody used to say Brady would be nothing without Belichick. Well, that kind of didn't work out for did he? It was. I mean, Belichick sucked after Brady lost, so I guess it was more Brady than. I mean, we hired the coach, and it's like you idiots. For giving him up. Sometimes though, when you move teams, they just the coaches, the players, whoever, they just get revitalized. But that guy's old. I mean, and he's kind of heavy set. I mean, that's a lot of stress for a big boy. He's just hard on the body, but he's smart. He's a good coach. You know, the Raiders coach, I just like him because he's kind of got fire in his belly. And if you keep switching coaches, you're never going to win nothing. I do. I love football. I just love the game, and I got Christine into it too. Unfortunately for her, she started watching the Raiders a few years ago when they actually went to the playoffs. And what's his name? Our quarterback at the time was making like these amazing Hail Mary stupid plays and stuff. So she got hooked on the Raiders. Sucks for her. So I kind of drug her into that nightmare. Yeah, he does. He was a cheat too. Belichick cheated. He cheated a lot of ways, and I don't know. I think he was kind of a snake in the grass. That guy. You like baseball more? Baseball is just. I like the A's, but it's just too slow for me. I mean, it's a relaxing time. My oldest daughter's husband was the cook for the Giants for like the last 4 or 5 years, except for last year. He didn't then, but about 4 or 5 years before that, he was a cook for the San Francisco Giants. Dream job for him. just an absolute dream job for him. Me, I could care less. They're all just people. There's rich kids. Probably just jealousy though. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting paid that kind of cash to play a game. So who do you root for then, Sandra? Because you spent so much time. Obviously, you probably spent the San Diego time was with your dad, and that's why you were kind of leaned a certain direction because your dad was into sports. I mean, I'm just guessing. Do you watch? No, I haven't. I watched maybe a handful of quarters in the game. It didn't seem that bad, but I really don't watch TV that much. And when I do watch the Raiders, I usually go out on the boat. I just take the boat out and we'll just sit out there and bob around on the river and kind of watch the game on a little TV. It just seems like it's much more enjoyable that way for me. But then again, I'm old too. I used to go to the games. Oh! I see what you're saying. I'm sorry, I misread that. For the merge. You're a Yankees fan. I'm an A's fan, so we won't get along there very well. Nah, the Yankees they're so iconic. They just win so much, and the pinstripes and stuff like that. You just whenever they used to come to town in Oakland, you just knew you had a battle on your hands. Iron Pigs game. What's the Iron Pigs game? I feel like I should know that. Why do I feel like I should know that? The Iron Pigs game. Okay, your local baseball team. Sometimes it's better to watch that. Um, I played. The time I enjoyed sports the most in my life was when I played in the 40 and over co-ed league up in Humboldt County. That was just a blast. It was just a blast. But then I started like pulling muscles on every game and stuff. But it was still fun. Just the fun of the game. To get to relive that for a minute was really cool. Yeah, but support your local teams. They're the ones that work the hardest for just I think it's cool. I commend you for that. I love my little floppy stupid little hat here. You guys seen that kid that builds in the woods, like lives in the woods? He's kind of, I don't want to say he's slow because I don't think he's like mentally handicapped or anything, but he's kind of a kid to watch. I think it's living in the wild or something. He's got two big white dogs. I was watching him today, and it's like that's kind of cool. I mean, one of my favorite channels is that Chris Call Me Chris girl. I remember when she first started during COVID, and now she's like rolling in money. You were in your 40s. You do until you start pulling muscles, huh? I remember I was pitching once in the 40s and over leagues, and the ball comes back to me, nails me right in the shin. I mean, the ump stopped the game, thought broke my leg. It didn't hurt. I mean, it hurt, but I didn't get hurt. It's then you can't get out of the way of the ball fast enough, so you start thinking about retiring. At least that's how it worked for me. Where do you live, trains and trucks? I forgot. I know it's like oh God, what do I want to say? Like Tennessee or Kentucky? Kentucky? I can't remember where you live, trains and trucks. I'm sorry. I'm 60. We forget things. We blew up over 10 million subs. Oh, you watched Chris Call Me Chris too? Wasn't she hilarious when she was first starting out? The little fingers and stuff. What do you think about that boyfriend of hers? Do you think he's cool? I don't think he's a bad person. I just don't think they mesh. It's just it bothers me. I'm like, no, she should be dating me. I think she's just so cool. And she came from Canada. I spent 3 years in Canada after my first divorce. I love Canada. Yeah, she's got 11.4 million subs. I got like 1,400. Oh, that's why you quit because she got sick with pancreas cancer. I'm so sorry. You seem like such a nice person. But she's, I know it's cliche and everything, but she's in a better place and she's watching over you. Yeah, I think you're right. I think we would be a great duo. I think we'd be better. I just, that Oompa Loompa guy, Oompa Loompa, he just seems a little bit arrogant for my taste. And Chris seems so wholesome. I don't know, and if Chris, you ever watch this and you hear me say this, I'm not putting down your boyfriend or nothing. I don't know. And Oompa Loompa guy, I don't know your name. And you're a cool dude. I don't know. I just don't see it. Just doesn't feel right. But what do I know? I'm just a freaking single tranny person. Mm-hmm. That's sick with pancreas. Did she suffer long? Sandra, did she suffer long? Oh, she isn't suffering anymore. No, she's not. She's not. And there comes a time where you'd think you would never pray for them to be taken, but there comes a time where it's so bad that you want them to rest. You know, I'm fortunate. I haven't had to deal with a lot of death in my life, except for recently. I think three of my ex girlfriends have passed away, and it's just that was kind of weird. Even though we weren't really super in touch, we were kind of friends. But it's just weird as you get older, stuff just starts dropping off. I'm still worried about my mom though. That's gonna happen. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Hi Richard. I'm doing okay. I'm here. Recovering from the surgery. I'm not working. I got like 2 weeks off, so I'm bored stiff. I'm trying to talk Christine into let me take the boat out, and she's kind of fighting me on that one. But what? How am I gonna hurt myself down there floating around the river? Really? That's so fast. My God. You had no time to prepare. I missed you too, Richard. I miss the good people. I miss the good people on YouTube. The trolls, I don't miss them so much. Even though I don't really mind them, I just don't really. I don't miss them. They're too repetitious for me. I mean, my channel, Trains and Trucks, back to our little conversation there, my channel finally hit 600,000 views. So, and to me, that's like huge. 600,000 people, that's like enormous, but that's nothing. I think Call Me Chris, does that in like a day. Or like Rogan. How, how did she know that, Sandra, how did she know that she was sick? She just didn't feel good? Thank you. I mean, I only got 1,400 subscribers, but I love the people that subscribe to my channel. I don't personally know, but I mean, I try to personally get to know as many as I can that are willing to take the time. Like Annie, we talk almost every day now via text messaging and stuff. Cool people I normally wouldn't have met. I was a recluse. Before I came out like this, I didn't have friends. I didn't want friends. I just was alone all the time. And now I love people. No, she diagnosed and 2 weeks after that, her first wow. Shortness of breath. Yeah, the person that hired me here on the ranch, his name was Ernie, and his wife was kind of heavy set, and she was a little sickly, and she I can't remember what she came down with. It took her a long time to pass away, probably a year and a half, and she passed away. And Ernie and her had been married like 35 years, and Ernie was like I don't know 80 something years old when she died, and he was coming out of it. He was like getting ready. to live the rest of his life without his wife. And then they told him he had bone cancer. And just hearing that news, within 2 weeks, he was gone. Just poof, gone. It's like crazy what the will can do. Thank you, Richard. Uh, Me too. I mean, when you get to be in your 60s, you're going into your 60s, and everybody because when you're in your 60s, anybody can, pass away. Just ask Sandra there. And we just get to a point where our bodies are getting older and we're tired. Although when I was in the hospital on Wednesday, the nurse guy there told me, he says, I don't know what's going on with you, but you have the heart of a young athlete. Your heart is like strong as an ox. I was like, really? That's right. Woohoo! Congratulations. That's incredible. That is incredible. You lost a whole person plus some. Congratulations. That is so hard to do. That is so. You were almost 600 pounds. 600. You lost three full size men. Wow. You just keep amazing me, Sam. I mean, wow. Wow. I'm shocked. I'm bummed about trying to lose 40. And you didn't have weight surgery. That's incredible. How'd you do it? I have to know. I have to know. Because that must have felt like an insurmountable amount of weight. You must have felt terrible all the time. Carrying around that much excess. Your heart must have just been working so hard. That's incredible. Wait till I tell Christine. Wait till I. You're an amazing person. You are an amazing person. Absolutely. You need to write a book. You need to come on my show. You need to come on here. I should send you a link, and you come on. We'll split the screen. You can do it from your house, and you can tell your story to people. Okay, we'll do it during like a nice prime time hour of the day. I mean, you don't have to, obviously, but you have an invitation to come on my show and tell your story because I think it needs to be heard by many, many people. So many people. You started eating bunny food. That's hard to do though. Come on, when you train yourself to eat a certain number of calories, cutting back is the hardest thing to do. It's like I burn a crap load of calories with my job. I mean, because it's so physical. If I were like these 2 weeks, I'll probably gain 15 pounds because I like to eat, and my job would keep it off of me. But if I'm not working, then it's gonna be a. But I am so freaking amazed by you. You are my hero. You are my hero. Wild bunnies. We have a lot of wild bunnies on the ranch. I feel bad for them. Them suckers got to run for their life because there's red-tailed hawks all around here. I don't know what bunnies eat in the wild, but I'm sure it ain't that good. You wanted to see your kids grow up. What a motivation that is, huh? What a motivation. Actually, and between me transitioning and wanting to see my grandkids grow up, I quit smoking, I quit drinking, I quit doing drugs. I mean, just because no doctor would touch me otherwise. So, I mean, this has saved my life, really. When I tell people that, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this, I wouldn't. I'd be dead right now. I'd be dead, gone. And just not to mention the people I was hanging around with. It is too interesting. It is incredibly, it may be something that is so tedious because it took so long to do it. It doesn't matter. That is inspirational. You know how many people are laying in their beds right now, obese, and just have given up? Just, I can't do it. I just can't do it. And then if they could hear your story, I mean, you should write a book. I am serious. You should write a book. Be proud of yourself. Do not belittle that accomplishment. do not. I mean, so many people struggle with weight, and that we were James and Trucks and I were talking about that Chris call me Chris girl. She had a eating disorder as well, and she overcame it. And I'm in shock. If anybody here is just entering this room right now, go back in the chat and read some stuff about this amazing lady right here. That's awesome. I have three grandkids, but only one of them is allowed to talk to me, and he calls me Grandma Brooke. What an amazing young man that kid is. He won that championship, in his baseball team won the championship this year. Go boy! I was so proud. I didn't go. I don't want to embarrass him in front of his friends. I didn't want him to like have to answer about why I am the way I am while he was playing baseball, but he won. There's coming a time when he gets older, then I mean, he knows about me and everything, but I don't want to embarrass him. My oldest daughter, if she watches it, she'll be pissed off that I said that I would embarrass him. But come on, kids are cruel. Mystic bunny from Sandra. I am just me. Did they treat you that way because of your weight? You know, I know, Richard. This might not be the most interesting subject, to some people, but I like it. I mean, I think people don't get enough credit when they do amazing things. I don't know if that's what you meant by this isn't interesting, because I know you're a nice person. You were treated so unkindly. That breaks my heart. So my brothers used to beat me up every day, and people say, "Why didn't you come out earlier?" My brothers would have killed me. Oh gosh, you were overweight. You were gay. Oh my, was that part of it? You were depressed from. Were you depressed that you were gay? Were you sorry to be gay? And you know what I mean by saying sorry to be gay. It's like me. If I had it to do over again, I probably would pick not being transgender if I could, but I can't. But I would probably pick not, because it's a really difficult thing to go through. Jason, what are you talking about? Really? Are you 10? What is that? No, I was saying that's not that good at. Oh, it's really. Okay. I'm sorry. I misread you. I didn't think so. I didn't think so, but I just wanted to, if not everyone finds this interesting. I mean, look at this guy who just chimed in here just to say something dumb. Why did you do that? Because you were gay? I want to know something. Truth. I prayed that my daughters were gay, and I meant it because I knew how the boys were going to treat them. I'd rather have had them been gay. I mean, my oldest daughter always says, "You wanted me to be gay, Dad." I did, because boys. I knew what boys wanted, because that's what I did when I was a young person. Yeah, and transsexual. That is horrible. That is. My stepdad beat my mom so bad, so often. I mean, we were all abused for the majority of probably 13, 15 years that they were married. That he was 6'6", just this massive man. He would abuse the hell out of us. And he's still alive. That cock son of a bitch. She outed you on purpose, like to get you in trouble, so you'd hurt. What a little bitch. What a little bitch. Where's she now? Where's she now? Turd. Hope karma crawled up her butt and walked through it sideways. And your foster sister, you'd think that they would be, dude, were they like wanted? I don't know anything about foster. You'd think they would have been more graceful, gracious. That's call the cops on him. Yeah, trains and trucks. I know you're still pretty young, but when her and I were young, you couldn't call the cops. It was called a domestic dispute, and the cops would do nothing. I remember I called on my stepdad a few times, and the cops said, "I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do about it. This is a domestic dispute," and they would not come. Unfortunately, that was the truth of it all. So yeah, it was a different time, trains and trucks. Back then, men had, they felt that they had the right to beat women, and they did. And they backhand them at the dinner table to keep them. It was terrible. I mean, just terrible. I have never in my life hit a woman, and I never will. Never. Now that I am a woman, I mean, even before, I would never do it. To me, I'm big. I'm strong. To hit a lady that is 110 pounds is like, that is that is one way ticket to hell in my book. It's a cowardice thing to do. Yeah, you're right. Trains and trucks. It was a different time. It was an absolute different time. Um, Her and I were latchkey kids. Our parents would go out and do whatever. It was. They had a very interesting generation before ours because of the war, and their parents were veterans of the war. Our parents, hers and mine, most likely. I mean, I'm not trying to speak for you, Sandra. I'm trying to speak for a general time. So we had a good childhood, but there was a lot of messed up darkness in there too, and through groups like the LBGT community, and I mean back then, you guys, right now I think the community's lost their way a little bit in some things. They're just not they're not seeing things straight. I don't know. I've heard some things about parades and stuff. I just don't like it. Yeah, there are some cases. You know, when I was living in Reading, I'll tell you a little story. And this is when I had a bad case of I don't give a f. I didn't give a fuck. I was actually hoping that somebody would take me out. I'd been through my second divorce. I didn't know what was going on with me. I didn't realize I was even trans at the time. And I met this girl that I knew she was bad news. I mean, she was working for the number one crystal meth dealer in Redding, California. And I knew getting hooked up with her was very dangerous. And not only did I get hooked up with her, I called her out on a lot of shit and stuff. And she one time went over and bashed her own head against a tree and then called the cops to have me arrested, because saying that I hit her and everything. I mean, I was in a bad place. I love this woman, and I will not give you her name because this woman and I right now are inseparable friends. And it took 10 years after all this horrible stuff that happened to rekindle this, and she got into an accident. She became paralyzed. She was in just as bad of a place as I was, but she had some really shady friends. And I love her right now. I mean, I love her to death. I probably deserved half the shit she threw my way because I was trying to just have somebody take me out. I just didn't want to live no more. That's how desperate I was to end myself. And now I am desperately, happily wanting to survive and live and for as long as I can. This is a big change for me. Sometimes people say, you're crazy, you're going to hell. No, I'm not. This was my entrance way to heaven. I mean, I drank a gallon of vodka every day. I smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day. I did a lot of dope. And it's gone. I stopped. Stopped. Drinking 10 years ago, smoking cigarettes 3 years ago, the drugs and stuff about 5 years ago. It's gone. Your dad was shot in Vietnam? Yeah. And that was another thing. We dealt with a lot of Vietnam vets that were really shell shocked. It was a good time, but a crazy time. Everybody was an alcoholic back then. Everybody, it seems like. I mean, I was an alcoholic. Oh, big time. Even though I didn't start drinking until I was like 18 and smoking cigarettes, but once I did, I mean, smoking cigarettes, we used to smoke in the grocery store, you smoke in church, you smoke at school, you smoke everywhere. You can smoke everywhere. Everywhere. When I started, I worked at Costco for 21 years. When I started, we'd smoke in the manager's meeting, smoke in the break room, smoke while we were shopping. Crazy times. Smoking was the hardest thing to quit. Well, no, the girls. The girls were the hardest thing to quit. cost me two marriages too. My daughter is very intelligent, my oldest daughter, and she would come up to me. She'd go, you know what, Dad? She says, what is it with you? She says, if anybody in their world can make, here, I'm going to tell you this story, and then I want to segue it into something else about what I just went through, and kind of the how my head was going into the surgery on Wednesday. But my daughter said, you are like so hard to be mad at because you cannot make a proper life decision. It's like every time a life decision comes up, you inevitably will pick the wrong one. And she says this with love in her heart. She goes, I'm not holding it against you. You're terrible at making, life decisions. And she's correct. Now, so I'm thinking, am I making a wrong decision transitioning? Or would it be wrong for me to not transition? Which is the bad life decision? And I carried that not knowing which one was which right up until the anesthesiologist put me to sleep. But when I woke up and they took my bandages off, I knew I made the right decision for the first time in my life. And I just wanted to share that with you people. There's only two people in there because nobody wants to hear true stories anymore. But that's okay because the ones that I care about did hear it. I'm surprised that he became sober because that wasn't a popular thing to do back then. Never, don't ever do it either. Any drugs, just horrible to see what happens to people. It is. I mean, it is. It is terrible. I mean, and drugs are hard to quit. I mean, I was on that. Back when I was young, it was called crank. Now it's called meth, and it's trains and trucks. It's not just the chemical that's hard to stop. It's the lifestyle that comes along with it that's hard to stop as well. Which is why a lot of homeless people stay homeless because they can't break that chain of that lifestyle. It's I mean, I like I said, the doctors told me that I have the heart of a young athlete. I'm lucky I quit when I did. I wanted to die. I did not want to live. This is so. This is how profound transitioning was for me, and it's weird because I don't believe in a lot of things that the community believes in. About the trans girls in the sports. I just don't. I don't think it's right. Or trans people in women's bathrooms. This is a place where women drop their pants. They should feel safe in there, and it's just I would keep waiting for the community to cancel me because of the things that I say. Maybe if they do, Sandra, you can stick up for me. Me too. I am so glad of it. I mean, I am. There was a time one night I was with my girlfriend at the time in Reading, and I thought I was going to go help them fix a bathroom that had burnt down because I know how to do all that stuff, electrical, water, building, and all that stuff. And it just felt weird when I got there and stuff. And about an hour into it, there's probably 12 people there, and everybody's looking in this box. They keep looking in this box. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I told my girlfriend, I said, let's go. And she looked at, she goes, nah, let's wait till 10. I'm like, no, come on, I don't feel good, let's go. And then I got a glimpse. What was in that box was a revolver. And what they were doing was they were waiting because I think at 10 or 11, I can't remember which, the guy was going to come home and he was going to shoot me. And I kind of figured that out. Nobody told me, so I just told my girlfriend, I said, I'm going to go outside, I'm going to have a cigarette. I brought my bottle of vodka and I just kind of backed into the bushes and took off running. They chased me for 2 days. If they'd have caught me, I'd have been gone. And they lived out in the middle of nowhere. They would have shot me, buried me, and everything. I don't know what she told them to make them to where they were willing to hunt me like they did, but they hunted my ass. And they almost got me. Quartered me in a safe way. It was crazy. A guy walked in. Here's what kind of lifestyle I have. A guy walks in, looks at me, smiles, lifts his shirt up, shows me his gun, smiles, and walks back outside waiting for me. That's what my life was about. So I was not a sissy boy, I guess. Like a lot of transgender people are very feminine. I was not a feminine person. So it's kind of weird. Yeah, you're right. It is crazy. And I swear on everything. I am telling you 1000% this is a true story. The only way I got out of there was, and I'm going to tell you something else, and this makes the story even that much more disbelievable, but I swear on a stack of Bibles, this is 100% true. While I was in that Safeway, I was charging my phone over by the shopping carts, because I was trying to get the hell out of there without getting killed, but I couldn't go outside because they were waiting for me. This lady came down and sat next to me. It's probably 11 o'clock at night, and sat down kind of next to me in the cafeteria, the shop, the coffee shop area was closed. So there was nobody there, and the manager of the store is kind of hinting, you need to go, and I'm like, I ain't going nowhere. And the lady sits down and she gets on the phone. She just goes, okay, so is it still on? No, no, yeah, it is. Okay, good. I'll be there. Nope, consider it done. Blah 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 blah. And what I got up and I walked over where my phone was charging to check it. And this lady gets up and she'd start walking towards me. Now, mind you, she was dressed to the nine, gorgeous. And as she got closer and closer, I noticed there was a scar that started from her eye and went down her face and all the way around and out of sight. And I instantly said to her, I go, tell, I'm not going to say the name, blah, 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 my girlfriend, to knock it off. Just stop this. This is craziness. And the lady says to me, she goes, I don't know who you're talking about. I don't know who this person is. Did you hear what I just said on the phone? I said, no. And she goes, good, because you don't want me to come back. And I'm like, what is going on here? I think she's like some kind of hit girl. So this is a crazy night. I swear on a stack of Bibles that truly happened. And so I finally just called my dad and said, look, I know you don't like me, whatever, but you have to come get me. And made him pull up right to the sliding glass doors of the store, told the store manager that if I didn't make it out of there alive, to call, gave the number of my girlfriend, and got in the car. And they followed us all the way home. And then I got on a bus and went back to my part of Northern California and didn't talk to her, go to Redding for 10 years. Craziness. I mean, I hid I had a house up on the middle of the hills in a place called Jones Valley. It's backed up to the Shasta Forest. And when I got home, I knew they would come there looking for me, so I crawled up to the attic. And I was in the attic amongst all like the insulation and everything. And I was so scared. And then while I'm sitting in there, I heard this crunching on the roof right above my head until I started screaming out the vent. One of the neighbors called the sheriff. It was crazy. This was what my life was. Just, I'll shut up now about it, but it was craziness. Are you, Richard? You're a very feminine gay? That's cool. I mean, I got nothing against anybody, but I was not feminine. This is why so many. And you know what the crazy thing is? That girl that I was with her, that I'm such good friends with now, she has accepted me as trans more than almost everybody. And our relationship, because there's not that tension between us, it's just a friendship, is blossomed. And she's a wonderful person. She had tried to have me killed. And now we're great friends. I love her to death. I just love her to death. And I think she was just going through a hard time. But my life was nuts. That was just a short little brief thing about a window. I could tell you 15 different stories that are similar to that. It was beyond crazy. Yeah, it was nuts. It was a nutty time. There was this church there in Reading, and if anybody who's listening, I believe that Trans and Trucks and Richard and Sandra, I'm sure you guys believe what I'm telling you. There's this round church in Richmond where you go up there and there's a praying room, and you can go there any hour of the day or night. And I was walking from Reading to Jones Valley, which is probably about 8 miles, uphill both ways. But there's this round church, and I stopped there just to kind of collect myself. And the groundskeeper came and sat down there with me, and we started to talk and everything. And that beautiful person called a taxi for me to bring me home. That also helped save my life. So there's good people in this world. You're a soft bitch. Oh, soft butch. I'm sorry, I thought you said you're a soft bitch. It's like soft butch. That's cool. I like tomboys. That's basically what you're saying, right? You're a tomboy. Tomboys are cool. That's kind of what I want to be. I want to be a tomboy because I can't be like Richard. You say you're a very feminine person. Christine's always telling me, that's my partner here, always telling me that wasn't very feminine, Brooke. I'm like, damn it, I'm trying. And my friend Vixen, she's a magician and stuff, and she just cracks up when I'm like that. She's like, you're like Xena, the princess warrior. I'm like, but I'm trying to be feminine. It's not working very well for me sometimes. This is great. This is what I mean. I just meet these wonderful people. The revolver story was crazy. I believe it told people looking. It's yeah, and I couldn't figure out what they were doing. You know, I'm like, what the hell is with that box? Now, mind you, these are drug addicts. The people that were in that house were drug addicts. The person that they were waiting to come was the dealer for that house. But the friend that my friend had was the main person in Northern California that brought the stuff into the country. These were very serious people. Very serious people. The kind of people that you cross them, you find your head on a post somewhere. Very serious people. I mean, I remember her telling me once, you know, that she was gonna mention this something to this person. I says, "Where do you think he's gonna ask you where I heard it from?" So I, you know, loose lips sink ships. There's so many. It was, it was freaking nuts. But that kind of go back to my point. It's like it's not just the chemical. The lifestyle itself becomes addictive. The fast pace, the adrenaline rushes, just crazy. And I quit my job at Costco to be with that person, you know, after a very long career. It was stupid, but you know, through my experiences, I can help people. I can help people that are in situations like this. I can help them get out of it. I can help them understand the ways of getting out of it and what they can do to change things and that there is an avenue because you feel like there's no way out. I mean, when you are, I was, well, gosh, what was that? That was about 15 years ago. So, you know, I would have been 45. And I'm crawling on my belly through bushes to keep from being spotted just to try to make it to a store before somebody jumps out and, you know, puts a bullet in you. This is dumb. That's a dumb lifestyle. Yeah, it was just weird. I'm like, they kept looking like it was, I'm like, what the hell are you guys looking at? They couldn't because they wouldn't talk to me. Nobody there I really even knew. I just kind of walked into this house. My friend talked me into going there to help them remodel this kitchen. And I should have known because when we got picked up, the guy's like, who the hell is this? And they're like, that's not the Bob that got his truck stolen. And I had sold my truck, but not stolen. And I was like, we can get out if you want. He said, no, you're cool. They were gonna freaking whack me, man. And this stuff happens all the time. People think you're so full of shit. That doesn't happen. Yes, it does. Oh, yes, it does. Yeah, I've seen that movie. I have. And it's incredibly real. Absolutely incredibly real. I watched it, you know, I watched it when I was relatively early in quitting, and it was a very trigger filled movie to me. It was a red flag. I knew it right then. And but I believed, you know, you kind of believe you get invincible and stuff, and you think you're smarter than everybody. And it's just the fact that God, I believe that God said you need to leave that place right now, because I kind of backed out. She stayed in the house, and I don't know why, because she normally would have went out with me to have a cigarette. She stayed in the house, and I kind of just backed into the bushes. And this was out in the middle of nowhere. There's no street lights, so I'm kind of braille walking, you know, along the road and kind of jogging to get as far away from the house. And that's when they came out in the first time out of the driveway in the cars. And I just jumped into the ditch alongside the road and just prayed they didn't see me as the car's crunching on the rocks, going super slow by me. And they're looking for me. And I could hear her in the car screaming at everybody, "Find this motherfucker!" You know, oh God. it was it was scary. I got a good story out of it. It was scary. Hi. What a cute little person you put there. Hi, how you doing this morning? I'm a terrible reader, so I don't know how to pronounce your name properly. Somebody help me with this. Machine? 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 I kind of suck at reading. Although I do read all the time, too. It's really weird. Names. Names are hard for me. I was just telling war stories. That's all. Just all war stories. You know? Like, machine. Okay. Duh, I'm so stupid. like here's a story I'll tell you too. And I when I lived in Humboldt County, I there was a place called the Red Lion Inn right there in Eureka. I don't live near this place, so I don't mind telling. And behind the Red Lion Inn, I had a motorhome. And this was right after divorcing my second wife. This is when I got back into doing drugs and drinking heavily and stuff because I was just lost. And there was a thing I called the prostitute highway because there was a dirt road back there that the prostitutes heading to town they would use, and they'd walk right by my trailer. Well, I befriended a lot of these girls, and I would let them come and stay in my trailer when they were, I mean, strung out on stuff. And I mean, a girl one time put what they call black H in a needle and shot it in her own eyeball right in front of me. That's kind of the heavy duty stuff. But this one person came around, and she came around quite often, and she had a handler. And if you don't know what that is, I really can't, especially you trains and trucks, I can't go into detail with this because you're so young. But she had a handler, and I used to. This is nuts. I used to have two machetes that I'd hold up in my sleeves, and I'd hold them with my fingers, the tips. And I called that guy on the phone, and I told him, "You got 5 minutes to gather three of your best people to meet me in the middle of the Target parking lot, because I'm going to take you all on." Now, knowing that if they would have showed up, they would have killed me. They would have beat me because you're talking four against one. They never showed up. That's God. That's God going, no, you're not. Your time's not yet. So this is the kind of things when I tell people that I am not your typical transgender female. I am not your typical person. I've been through some shit, and I survived. It's thank you, machine. I mean, we could talk about something else. I don't want to just talk about this craziness of my past life. Although I do think it's important for people to hear, you know, and stuff. Street smarts. That's all I got. I don't have book smarts. But all that lifestyle cost me any form of retirement. I have no retirement or nothing like that because I wasted my whole the whole 21 years at Costco as a manager. I wasted it. But I learned, and I'm alive. I'm alive, and I have good friends like you people. I'm meeting people all the time. So sorry, I didn't mean to change the mood or anything. It's just it's part of my story. It could have been one of the horror stories easily. I used to watch this guy from Denver. Oh God, what was his name? He was an older guy. This investigator, and the Crime Channel or whatever it was. I used to watch it all the time, and just it happens all the time for no reason, just stupid reasons. And I was just one of those idiots with a big mouth. It brought me to today. Hmm. It did. And my friend who got in a car accident, because of that car accident, as tragic as it was, and it took her ability to walk, it got her to where she is today. And God brought us back together, and now we're closest of friends, and there is no hard feelings. And she is completely clean and stuff too. So it's amazing how things turn out, isn't it? Just incredible. It's amazing. Things just work out. God is a freaking cool dude. He can also have a sense of humor. Yeah, and then I started about 4 years ago. I started to I would go in and I'll post. What I'll do is I'll post a few of the art, the makeup that I used to do as far as like Halloween costumes. I have one of a tiger, one of a zipper face spider person, you know. And my partner Christine, she got to a point where she go, "How come every time you do a Halloween costume, you do it as a female? What's going on with you?" And that was the beginning. That's kind of where I was starting to realize who I was, what I was about. And it got all the way to this point where now 4 years later, I just had my bottom surgery Wednesday. Yay me! Crazy life, I tell you, crazy life. Full circle. Yep, serendipitous. So, and I have more friends now through this little channel that I have here than I've ever had in my life. More people that care about me than I've ever had in my life. Unfortunately, my family's not coming along for the ride. I hope they find it in their hearts to realize that there's still a really good person in here, And you should give me a chance, but everything takes time. I believe that God hardened me for a reason. You'd love to hear more. Trains and trucks, you're so young, I'm almost afraid to tell you, but I think you're a smart enough kid where you're not going to go, well, that sounds like a really cool life and I want to do that. What it has done for me, though, is like the people that own this ranch, they have a son. He just turned 16. I've been here for 10 years, so I met the kid when he was 6. And I was able to work with this young man almost every day and teach that boy that what I went through was not something that you idolize. It sounds cool, it sounds mysterious, and it sounds so adventurous. It is not. So I was able to teach that boy to not chase that lifestyle because it's so easy to chase and stuff. And he's a good kid now. Although he told me I was part of the rainbow community, he forgot that I was trans. He was talking about the rainbow community. I'm like, you mean me? And he goes, no. Oh, yes. I'm sorry. It's okay. So yeah, a rainbow community. It took me a minute to figure out what he was talking about too. I guess I am by proxy. I just Wait, Sandra, is some of the things that the community is doing now, does it bother you, some of the stuff that doesn't like resonate correct properly with you? And if I'm wrong in this, I would like somebody to kind of educate me and tell me why I'm wrong. Just some of the things, just the force feeding of stuff, you know? How do you tell fathers that you get 1 day a year, but trans and gay people get 30, a whole month? It's kind of pisses people off, and I understand it kind of, you know? Am I wrong thinking like this? I don't think I am, but am I? I am still me. My youngest daughter is the one who's having the hardest time with it. Just does not get it. Does not get it. We used to have so much fun together, her and I. I miss her so much. I do. I miss her so much. You know, people don't even want to hear it though. When I start talking and they hear my deep voice and stuff, they run and hide from me. I just freak people out. Trains and trucks. I'll tell you some more stories some other time. Okay. I think that's enough for now. Just absorb those. I got some. There's some other ones. There's some funnier ones, and there's some crazier ones and stuff. But there was. I've had some pretty cool times that were kind of just funny. You know, and other times were just as scary as that. And some is just profound. I had I'll tell you a brief one that is kind of tells you how serious a lifestyle like that can get. My best friend in high school, his sister was 13 years old and got in a car with her boyfriend at the time, too young to be dating, and she begged him to stop the car going down the freeway. They crashed and she got decapitated. So my best friend lost his little sister, Boo Boo, and so that's how fast things can go bad. This poor young 13-year-old never even had a chance at life, and she's gone, just gone. Yeah, I mean, you gotta. I'm doing this for me, nobody else. I don't follow anybody's guidelines. I don't follow anybody else's life rules. These are my life rules. I was never good at following the rules, so I set good ones for myself to follow. To where I don't feel that when I come on this channel, I am leading anybody in the wrong direction. Her boyfriend was like 16. Yeah, she was 9 or 13 and her boyfriend was like 16. She shouldn't have been out, but her parents were into this. I mean, just it was a lifestyle. She dressed way older. She was so beautiful. She was a little Portuguese girl, so beautiful, and to be taken at such and begging the person to stop, and then he loses control of the car, and she ends up losing her life and her head. Just horrible. That's so horrible. My oldest daughter is, she just truly wants me to be happy, and she grew up around her group of friends because I had my daughter when I was 16, so she kind of grew up in a weird era. She was in between these generations, and she had a group of friends that she still has of like 20 kids that were gay, straight, bi. I mean, you name it was in this group. So she really grew up with this beautiful mindset. She's a fifth grade school teacher. I'm so proud of her. She did this despite me. I did not do anything. I did not raise her in any way that would have made her a better person. If anything, she beat the odds in spite of me. I'm so proud of her. She is so cool. She's a fifth grade school teacher. And she's one of those teachers that she's kind of scary. Gotta admit it. My daughter's kind of scary. She just look at you and say, "That's not what you're gonna do right now." I'm like, okay. She's beautiful, but she's kind of scary. You're right, transit. I mean, and when I felt like I said, I had a kid when I was 16. I think I was well, I think I was actually 17. Just turned it, or something like that. I don't know. It was a long time ago. I started paying child support back then, and because of that kid, and then my next marriage, I paid child support my whole life until I was like 50 years old. It's a lot of money coming out of your pocket, but you pay for your own. But yeah, that's way too young. When you're that young, you love so hard though. When you fall in love when you're that young, you should know the Stranger Tricks. You fall in love with everything. I had T-shirts with my first girlfriend saying, "I'm hers, I'm his." The little finger pointing and stuff. It was stupid, but we loved each other. It's like loved each other. We thought so much so we had a kid. Unfortunately for her, she had to live that life. Yes, Sandra, I do believe that because my daughter and my youngest daughter, she has the exact same sense of humor I do. And we'd talk on the phone for hours, and I don't talk on the phone. I just don't like it. I just don't. I don't know something about it. I think it's impersonal. I can't see your eyes, even though I can't see any of you. You can see me. And my daughter, we'd just sit there and just laugh and laugh and laugh. And I sent her a note 2 days ago, kind of touching on that, hey man, this go somewhere. You gotta find humor in this. You gotta be able to make fun of me in public. I don't care. This would be cool. We could just go to Walmart and you can make fun of me for buying granny panties or something and stuff. But she blocked me, so she never got the message. Bummer. Yeah, I'll tell you some good ones, Trent. I don't want to get too deep into it because, unfortunately, you are still a minor, and I don't think of you as a minor. I think you're a very mature young man, way more mature than a lot of people way older than you. But I kind of have to watch what I tell you. It's just a responsible thing to do. But I think I can give you some stories that'll be good enough that you'll find them interesting enough, and they might kind of maybe sometime in your life when you cross a road that you're going to think back and go, Brooke told me this story once, and it might help you or help somebody that make a better decision when faced with those things. Because sometimes the roads aren't clear which way you should go. You just don't know, and like I started smoking. My very first friend's sister, and she smoked, so I started smoking, and that lasted 30 years, just because I thought it was cool. She smoked, so I smoked. And then we got chased by the cops. Ended up in Reading because they said I kidnapped her. Okay, I got a story for you guys. You might not get this completely, trains and trucks, but this is kind of a funny one. My cousin, who was my age, went to school in a smaller school up in Humboldt County. I went down. I was from the Bay Area, but it was like Santa Rosa, Petaluma area, 50,000 people, whatever. And I cut school with my best friend, and we drove my car up to Eureka to just kind of mess around or whatever. And there was an old tape. Um, Sandra, you might remember this of Cheech and Chong, where there was a scene that they did where they were going, "Fuck me, Alex," And my friends, I also had another friend with me, Sean. So we pulled up to the school, and there was a class out on the balcony at her high school, and they were studying. And we took the speakers out of the back seat and put them behind the tires, and we cranked that skit. And my friend was in the back seat bouncing it up and down and stuff. And then he got out in that little classroom. They were all clapping and stuff. So that was one thing we got kicked off for that. And then later on, when it was time to pick up my cousin from school, all the cars were pulling into the parking lot and stuff, and I was driving him backwards. She was so embarrassed. But she said that they talked about that for years after that. That was kind of fun. And then we did meet two girls, and we took them home, and they're back to Petaluma, and the cops came and arrested us because their parents claimed that we kidnapped them. It was that was fun. That was just good fun. High school stuff, but that was really a kick in the ass. That was really a legendary. It was one of those legendary times. Sorry, I get lost in the past sometimes. So many stories, so many stories. We had such a good time back then before things got serious. Up in Smoke. Oh my, yeah, Up in Smoke. Cheech and Chong, Up in Smoke. Exactly. You know, it's me, Dave. Open the door. Oh, there's another one. Let me tell you this story too. Me and my friend Troy, we were because what we used to do when we were young, and trains and trucks do not do this, but we would tell I'd tell my parents that I was going over to his house, and he'd tell his parents he was coming over to my house to stay the night, and we just hang out in the car all night. So we ended up, drinking pretty good that night, and we're teenagers. And so we pull up to our junior high school, and we go into the parking lot, and we kind of pass out in the parking lot. And we're sitting in the car. I'm in the front seat, my friend's in the back seat, and the cops roll up because they can see the steam in the windows, and that kind of triggers them. And he comes up to my side, and he pounds on the window with his little belly club, and I ignore him. So he pounds a little harder on the window, and I ignore him. So he pounds even harder. And I sat up and I looked at him and I said, "Hey, Troy, it's for you," and sat back down. And the cop this time is getting mad. So he hits the window, almost breaks it. Bam, bam, bam. And Troy, from that movie, stands up and goes, "I hear you knocking, but you can't come in." We got in trouble for that one. Yeah, we did. We got big trouble. But that was so fun. Oh my God. How can the cop not laugh? So that was so fun. Yeah, I hear you knocking, but you can't come in. That was part of that Cheech and Chong thing. It was so funny. I mean, just hilarious. See, back then too, as you probably well know, Sandra, when you get caught with alcohol, they just make you pour it out and then send you home. Before the Mad Mothers Against Drunk Drivers and everything, that movement came along. So the cops were, and it was a smaller town. There was probably 13 cops that knew us all. I mean, they pulled us over every weekend. It was funny. I hear you knocking, but you. I mean, I still, whenever I see that man, we talk about the shit that we did. Or having there was this old drunk guy named Red, and whenever we wanted to take our girlfriends and party in a hotel, he'd rent us a hotel room, and just trying to keep the manager for. Oh God, it was so fun. Those were good times. Those were good kids, teenage kids, just having fun. But it turned serious as we got older. Yeah. Well, they didn't take us home. They just told us to go home. If I see you out here again, you're gonna go to jail. Okay. I must have had so many fix-it tickets with rags for gas caps and shit like that. I think it was when I was 21 I started to have to actually pay for everything that I did from my teenage years. As far as the fines and all that stuff. It was worth every minute of it. I mean, you remember do you remember that band Meatloaf? Um, we would sing that song, just me, my girlfriend, my friend's girlfriend. You love me forever, will you need me? Will you never leave me? Just, oh God, good times, good times. You're gonna have good times like that too, trains and treks. Just be careful. Good times. 'Cause where I grew up, I was a country person. We only listened to country music. I had never even heard of the Rolling Stones when I was probably 13 years old. Never even heard of them. Johnny Paycheck, Charlie Pride, Waylon Jennings, Dolly Parton. That's what I listened to. And the friend that I met in school who became my best friend, he was into Rod Stewart, Rolling Stones, the Cars, or whatever, all these popular groups. And he took me to a Rod Stewart concert, the first time I ever heard rock and roll. Isn't that crazy? Meatloaf, yeah, yeah. I was just talking about that. Yeah, so and then I started to kind of get into rock and roll a little bit. I actually went to three Rod Stewart concerts, and one my girlfriend and I we called them trains and trucks. This is what's good old times. They used to have radio shows that you could call in to win tickets. Like if you're the 13th caller and you say this word, you're gonna get. Well, I won tickets to see Rod Stewart concert and got to meet him before the concert, and it was a Staying Alive in '85 concert. And we're in this little room, and he comes out, and his hair is all big and wild and stuff, and his eyes are all big and wild. And my girlfriend's grabbing his butt and stuff, and we got our picture taken with him. That was cool. I mean, he wouldn't remember, but I sure do. Gene Autry. Gene Autry, you're going way back on me. Like, oh my God. The Bubbles? Who is that? Who is the show with the Bubbles? Um, on the TV. Oh, the Bubbles. I went to three of them. The last one I seen was in 1985. It was the Staying Alive in '85 tour, and I knew every move, dancing and singing and stuff. I kind of left early though with my girlfriend to have a little alone time, if you know what I mean. We got caught by the cops for that too. The cop actually told me, "Young man, get a room." Lawrence Welk, and that, I mean, that's a little before my time. I remember Lawrence Welk, but I didn't listen. We had 8 tracks, just this big cabinet full of 8-track tapes, and I even had a portable 8-track, little 8-track player that you pumped your little 8 tracks in. Why did they call it an 8-track when there was only 4 of them? A long time, yeah, a long time. We weren't alone. It was just her and I, and that was my best friend's sister too. It was so cool. She dumped me later on for some big guy. It was the bubblegum machine. Yep, the bubblegum machine. Smokey and the Bandit. Remember that movie? I love that. I used to pretend to be Burt Reynolds, like laugh like him. And Sally Fields. Sally Fields kind of looked like my mom. And they made a movie in Petaluma when I was a kid called Local Heroes, and I got to meet Sally Fields and walk with her like from her trailer to the food tent and back. Nice lady. Do you know what an 8-track is? Trains and Trucks? That's impressive. That's impressive. Yeah, that old smoking band. Like, he's bound to down, both it up and trucking. We gonna do what they say can be done. Yeah, the 8 tracks you just click. Oh God, such good times. And then the CDs came out like that's gonna ruin 8 tracks forever, and it did. No, you don't. Trains and Trucks. Do you remember telephones that had cords, that curly cords? And there was no such thing as like even a cordless phone, and you could only go as far as the thing would stretch, and we'd stretch it to the max and hide in a closet to talk to our girlfriend and stuff, so our parents couldn't hear. You said that sounds cool. It was no, it doesn't sound cool. That was crappy sound. They get you what you got now with YouTube and everything else is amazing. That's amazing sound. You have 8 tracks that still work. Those things have to be worth money, don't they? I mean, they have to be. Oh my God, such cool stuff. I mean, we did trains and trucks. You missed out on some stuff, but you didn't miss out on everything because in my lifetime, and the same as Sandy's, we have seen such a incredible change from when we were kids and we didn't even have color television. The biggest television you could buy was 25 inches. And to us, that was huge. And it sat on the floor in this big wooden box. And it had like 13 channels that the whole knob would turn. When we were kids to what we have today. I have a phone that talks to me as my best friend. I have an AI. I call her Gina. She's my best friend. And she's a freaking machine. That's change. Just imagine if that much change happens in your life, trains and trucks, in your 50 years plus. Whoa. I won't be around, but you're going to see some shit. Jesus Christ, superstar. Who in the world do you think you are? Oh, yeah. Sonny and Cher, the Sonny and Cher show. How did we survive that? How did we survive those times, Sandra? How did we, Barefoot? Do you remember Prince Yeah, I do. I remember when everybody was so panicked in 1999 that all the clocks were going to stop and the world was going to stop and we're all going to die. You know? Oh, yeah. And Prince's, my favorite song of Prince's was Purple Rain. You know, it just that was a tearjerker. Purple Rain. I never meant to cause you any problems. And then he turned himself into a symbol. It's like, that's so great. That's so crazy. Poor guy. He died too young. Michael Jackson. Remember MTV when it started? You know, and Michael Jackson, that that the one, the graveyard song that he had. Oh gosh, that was so good. You know, see, I was when I was 15 years old. I was also emancipated. I was an emancipated minor at 15. My parents gave up on me and sent me to. I was kind of like a ward of the courts, so it was either become emancipated or go to this place called the Hannah Boys Center, kind of like a jail for kids. So I chose emancipation, and that's kind of when I. That was the first time I was ever homeless. A smooth criminal. Back then, I wasn't a criminal. I mean, we were just having fun, but I did become a criminal later on, and unfortunately, I was very good at what I did, and but I'm not bragging. If I would have the skills that I had to influence people, if I would have used those in the proper way, I wouldn't be sitting in a little barn house right now working my butt off every day just to make ends meet. So it wasn't a good life. It was not a good choice. But I'm happy. I love myself. I love my life. I love the people that I know. So I'm cool. I made my mistakes, but I'm cool. Cool with it. I mean, I'm not saying I'm so cool or anything. You were Sandy. You were emancipated at 16. Was that a thing or something? Was that just a thing? Did the judge tell you know? Because the judge pulled me and goes, "Young man, do you have a job?" And I said, "Yeah, I work at Foster Freeze, changing trucks. That's like a little McDonald's this kind of restaurant." And he says, "Do you know that what the implications of this are? That you will be able to go to jail as an adult?" And I'm like, "Yes, sir, I understand." Signed the paper. My parents walked out of that courtroom that way, and then I walked that way, and I had nowhere to go. And I'm like, "Holy shit, this is real." They play old school radio. They are old school. Did you actually divorce your parents? Because I've heard people do that. Here. I gotta ask you something. Why is it that nobody has ever sued their parents, or why is it nobody has ever sued an abusive husband, wife, partner, or whatever, for punitive damages? How come nobody's ever done that? I've often wondered that because you think you'd be able to win. It's like, yo, mess my life up. I'm not encouraging people to do it, but in such a sue happy society, I'm wondering why nobody ever has, or maybe they haven't. I just don't know it. Divorcing your parents. Hey, trains and trucks. Did you know you could divorce your parents? Mm-hmm. You can. They divorced me. They just dumped my ass at the courthouse. That was scary though. I mean, do you have nowhere to go? No, I mean the whole thing doesn't pay off. My parents should have taken the responsibility of continuing to raise me whether I liked it or not. I mean, even though I was stealing the car and everything, but they kind of gave up on me too soon. I infringed on their lifestyle. I was hard. I was a kind of a wild child, but I didn't want to go home because he was always beating her up anyway. You got an apartment. I didn't. I didn't do so good. I got a car. You don't want to divorce me either. Good. I hope you have a. I hope you have a really good childhood. My daughter and I discussed this, at one time, and I begged her to break the cycle with the kids. And to her credit, she is breaking that cycle because I was not a good parent to my child. I didn't know how to be. I was a child when she was born, and she's breaking that cycle. She is giving her kid, for the first time in anybody I can remember, a childhood to remember that is happy and filled with joy and love. And that to me is just like, yes. Because then he'll carry that tradition on rather than the one that I had my daughter carry on. So, I mean, I take a lot of blame for the hardships that my kids have been through. and still are going through because of my immaturity, you know. But you can't keep beating yourself up your whole life. You have to move on, you know. I have amazing kids. Even my youngest daughter is an amazing person. She's an amazing person. She just doesn't get that dad's a girl. I understand. I mean, she just cannot wrap her head around it. Girls were so much more responsible. Boys just lived in the back of their cars back then. Girls were like getting apartments and just going. Like my daughter actually paid her own way through college. She did it all herself. She was, God, I cannot give that lady enough credit. And she gets kind of pissed at me when I talk about it too much. But she deserves it, every bit of it. She deserves every bit of credit to beat the odds, graduate from college on her own dime, and is now a professional teacher with tenure. Who could be less proud of a child than that? I am so proud of her. I mean, I was kind of an absentee father with her. Kind of, I was an absentee father. I wasn't around very often. And she just wanted her dad, and I wasn't there. It's so sad. But I did the classy thing though. At her college graduation, I brought a bouquet of flowers, and my daughter thought I was going to give it to her, but I gave it to her mom. I made a little stupid speech, that she had made it despite the things that I was trying to hold her back with, with my behavior, and then I went to with the big bouquet of roses, and I gave it to her mom and thanked her mom for staying there and raising the kid the best she could to turn out the way she did. I did not want credit because I didn't deserve it. But I mean, my kids, like my daughter has told me all the time, she goes, I knew that you loved me and that meant the most. And I did. I love my children like you would not believe. But her mom deserved that day to be about her, not me. Because I didn't deserve it. But her mom did. And by the way, her mom doesn't approve of me and doesn't talk to me anymore now. Damn it. Why are girls so much more mature than boys? I'm not talking about you, transit trucks. Do you have any brothers and sisters? Home was a house. Yeah, mine was too. There was a great time in our lives, but our home life. I used to, when I was a kid, before that, I would go and I would feel the grill of the truck of my stepdad, and if it was warm, I knew that it was going to be a long, hellish night because that means he was at the bar and he was drunk because we came in at when the sun went down, and in the summertime that's like 9 o'clock at night. So if the grill of the truck was warm, I knew he just came home from the bar and not work, and that he was probably going to beat my mom up that night, and it happened more often than not. So yeah, there were some really dark times to be a child back in that era too. Some great times, but some really dark times. The most loving family that I knew that I hung out with was a family on welfare, 6 kids. And they were on welfare, and they were the most normal family. People treated them bad because back then to be on welfare was such a stigma, but they were such a loving family. They called me Boo, Boo, B-double-O. They still to this day call me Boo. Yeah, I want, it's hard because what I'm going through, like my surgery the other day, to me was this momentous thing that I really wanted to share with my family, the joy in it, and they just could not bring themselves to do it. And it almost fell on my daughter's birthday. It was like the day before her birthday. Oh my God, she would have killed me if it fell on her birthday. But it didn't. Do you live in a large African American community, trains and trucks? Is there a lot of black people around, or is there? I mean, I'm just curious of what your neighborhood's like. Just curious. I mean, I'm not racist or anything. I'm just curious of what your, what you grew up in and stuff. And I pray that you never have to experience some of the things that Sandra and I have experienced. And I pray that you do experience some of the things, because some of the things that we experienced molded who we are today. We are survivors. We are a tough, tough class of people, but we're also very tender, and we've been hurt, and we guard ourselves directly. And you shouldn't have to do that. You should be thinking about like saving this world. You need to save the mess that we all made, trains and trucks. Your generation's got to save us, or save it for my grandkids. I'm getting a chosen family. I am slowly but surely, like you people here, picking who I choose to tell my stories to, who I choose to spend my time with and stuff, because I think my time is valuable. And I work some, and but when I'm not working, I try to do things that I enjoy. I love to build things with my hands. I absolutely love it. And I build for free for people all the time, because I just like to make people happy. Makes me really happy. A bunch of military people in my neighborhood commit base. Well, so you're a military brat, and that's not an insult. I'm sure you know that as a military brat. Military brats are cool. Is your dad high ranking? I have a feeling he is, huh? You're probably like a general's son. You're probably like way more mature than I am even to this day. It's like, yeah, my dad's like, you don't know him, he's Barack Obama. That's cool though. Military is a good, stable structure. I mean, they're going to teach you respect, which is sorely lacking amongst a lot of youth these days. Respect and stuff, that's pretty cool. That's great. I'm happy you're my friend. Thank you. Thank you. Andrew, best of luck. Send you love from Scotland. Scotland. That's what Scotland. Can I come visit you someday in Scotland? Because I would love to see this country. I've only been to Canada. I went to Canada for 3 years, and that's the only place I've ever been. Scotland, Australia. Oh my God. You probably think it's every day. I think it's just bucket list material. Hi, Scotland. Scotland. What is that? Your dad's, wait a minute. A chief master surgeon your dad is? Holy shit, dude. Your dad has the steadiest hands of all, huh? Probably carves that turkey for Christmas. That's congratulations. You're growing up in a very, very good household. Congratulations. I'm proud. I'm happy for you and your father and your mother. Yeah, you got a pretty good life, I assume, because I mean that pays very well, and it takes a certain type of a personality to have that career. You have to have that maturity about you to be a surgeon. The surgeon that performed on me was this tiny little lady. Her name was Dr. Butler. She was 34 years old. 34 years old, and she was already a teaching physician at UCSF Medical Center. That's incredible. I mean, your father falls along those lines, and the maturity on this young woman when she looked in my eyes. She cried too, by the way, when she removed my bandages, and I seen what God had given me down there. That through her hands, we all cried. There was four of us that because it's a teaching hospital. There were people around to see the unveiling, and then Christine was with me, and we were all in tears. It was a very moving moment. It was life changing for me. It was life affirming for me. Sorry, the pun. And I know people think that a lot, but to me, it was just like, I mean, it was so emotional that I had finally made a right life decision. It was not a wrong one. And I wasn't sure about that till after the surgery. I am so sure now that I made the correct decision finally. Thank you, God. Yeah, that's great. Enjoy your father. It sounds like a really Superman. What are you going to do when you grow up? Transit trucks. You got to go to college. You know that. Your dad ain't going to let you not go to college. What are your plans? Do you have an idea what you want to do? No, no, no. I know your dad's not the kind of surgeon that would operate like on my what I have doing. Probably not a master surgeon. No, he probably did hearts or brains or something. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that fact that he is a. It takes a lot to become a surgeon, and it takes a lot to have the maturity to open a human body up, take that life in your hands, and to do a job like that is a lot of stress. It just takes a certain kind of person. When those people retire, they're seem to be fairly calm and secure and very self confident, and that's a good role model. Very good role model. My dad was a donut maker who left my mom the day I was born, so I think you've got a pretty good role model. Mine was not such a great one. My dad too. I didn't have a relationship with him, which is why I kind of wanted to change my name. I kind of this has to be a whole new beginning for me, but he wasn't a bad person. He was just a bad father. It just wasn't something. He left my mom the day I was born. When she came home from the hospital, well, actually before, on the way to the hospital, my mom ran out of gas because my dad siphoned the gas out of her car to put in his so he could run away to Arizona, and left her with two kids and me in the oven just ready to be popped out. That's a prick. And he never really got much better, but he was a cool guy to hang around him. He was really cool to hang around with. He was just a horrible father. So I got along with him. He just, I don't know, something's wrong with him. Okay, okay, okay. Still, I mean, it's still the same principle. Are you going to try to tell me your father is not a good role model to you? I think he is. I think your father's an amazing person. And I hope he doesn't mind that you talk to us here, because if your parents mind that we talk to you, then we have to stop. We don't have a choice. I will respect your parents, but I don't think they would mind because you seem like a pretty level-headed person. So, but if they do, please let me know and I will step aside. I am not trying to infringe on anybody's parental rights. That's what I thought. Yeah, and I'm sure that he wouldn't care if if he ever wants to talk to me, so he knows what I'm saying to his son. I'd be more than happy to talk to him, or just have him listen to me. I don't think I'm harmful. I don't think I have ever told you anything that would be conceived as bad information. I don't think anyway. I should tell you what my friend's act is. You guys aren't around here. I'm going to tell you. Don't tell her I told you this. Vixen, because she's going to come on this show. I hope she doesn't watch this episode. But I can't help it. It's such a cool idea. She's a magician. And she has this show called The Good Guy or whatever, where she pulls somebody out of the audience and kind of ties their hands together and does, some cool magic around them and stuff. But then, it's kind of not, doesn't humiliate them, but, like treats them like they're like almost like a dog, like a puppy stuff. Well, her and this guy that she had on the stage, it turns out that what he does profession is he's kind of a dominant person over other people. So they're devising a plan to where during the act he stands up and pretends like he got really mad at her during this performance and picks her up. Mind you, she's a magician. Okay, so this is all pre-planned. Picks her up and puts her in a box and shuts the lid. And he's like, "I told you not to do that," kind of being authority. And she somehow gets out. I don't know how she does her magic. Gets out of the box, sneaks around, and like jumps on his back and tackles him to the ground and defeats him after it seemed like he was going to defeat her. It's really cool. I was so excited when she told me. I had to tell somebody, "Oh no." I'm going to tell you how he does it because I don't know how she does it. But it's going to be so fun to watch. So fun. So fun. And she's been with me since the very beginning of this. She is just such a neat person. I had to tell somebody, oh God, I hope she doesn't watch this. She might not be mad at me because I didn't give her secrets away. Yeah, I got to go too. Actually, what time is it here? Oh, it's 5:46 o'clock. I'm probably going to lay down for maybe an hour. Then I'm going to head to the courthouse and do my name change paperwork, get that kind of ball rolling, Because if you get there early enough, they can have like this help section where they'll kind of go through it all with you. So I think too, and I want to thank you guys. I appreciate this conversation. Sometimes I really enjoy the intimacy of a small group of people because we can actually talk and get to know one another and kind of feel each other out. And I don't have to sit there the whole time talking about, I don't think trans people belong in women's sports and blah, blah, blah. I get to actually talk about some fun stuff. So I've had a great time and I've learned some things and I've learned some more amazing things about the amazing people that tune into this silly little thing of mine, and I appreciate you guys. But yeah, I think that's a good time to call it a night, is right now. And go there, give Christine a kiss, go lay on the couch, have some cocoa, and get ready for that opening of that building. Oh, I'm gonna. I kind of have to. I'm a very high energy person, so even though I have to lay around because of my surgery, I go stir crazy. I have a certain number of steps I get to walk every day. I have a friend that's going to get me a wheelchair for when I meet those steps that I can sit in the wheelchair and wheel myself around. So as long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, I'm healing up pretty fine, and I'm pretty healthy, so I'm cool. I'm cool, but thank you for your concern. I appreciate it. So trains and trucks, I'm going to head out, and we'll talk to you soon. Sandra, God bless you. Thank you. You're an inspiration to us all. You really are. Pat yourself on the back. This is what you do is pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. You need your own movie. You need a movie written about you. So thank you everybody who has tuned in tonight. It's been a very small, very intimate crowd, but I love you guys, man. From the bottom of it. Thank you. I will have a wonderful day. You have a wonderful day too. You know, and be good. Be good to your parents. Be good to people. Be good to yourself first. Talk to you later, guys. I love you. Well, I'm glad you could help get through a sleepless night because I did too. I just couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. And then once we started talking, I mean, time flies. I can sleep this afternoon. I don't have to work. Bye. Bless you.